G'day Spurs fans, Paul the Hotspur hippie here with a little friend, a bush turkey, who seems to be interested in what I'm doing. Come on you Spurs, that's it. Come on you Spurs. There we go, got the bridge in the background. How are we all going there? Well, it's official. Ivan Perišić is returning to his hometown of Hajduk Split, joining them in a deal I don't quite understand, on a loan until the end of the year, and he's reached an agreement with them to play for a further year. The loan bit I don't understand, because he's on squillions of pounds a week at Tottenham Hotspur. He's got an ACL injury, so I don't think Hajduk are going to be paying his wages. Maybe a little bit, which, if that's the case, I think that's a nice, cool move by Tottenham to let him go, because he's not going to be playing for Spurs again, and to let him go back home and get ready for the next season with Split is nice, isn't it? And I don't think we quite saw the best of Perišić, unfortunately. Not his fault, I don't think. Was played a lot by Conte in his system. It didn't quite work out for any of the players really, let alone him. But this year, under Ange Postecoglou, I think we saw the player he could have been for us. So it's a bit of a wasted opportunity. I think Perišić playing for Tottenham, which is a shame. I think he's a great player. I think he's whenever he turns out for Croatia, he always puts a good performance. Him and other former Spurs boy Luka Modric. Of course, Perišić, a Champions League winner, a World Cup runner-up, and a third place. Wonder if Croatia are in with a shot of completing the trilogy of podium medals for him. So, best of luck to him. It's a nice way to see out a career, and I'm hoping that he'll do the same as Toby Alderweireld, who returned to his hometown of Antwerp, played for Royal Antwerp, and in the 94th minute of the last game of the season, bunged one in the back of the net. And it wasn't like a tap in either, it was a rocket. It was a, let's go. Winning Antwerp their first league title for 66 years. So, good luck, Ivan. Thanks for your service, man. I'm going to sneeze. Maybe I'm not. I'll just look like a weirdo. Well, I'll look even more like a weirdo for a bit. Now, what was the other thing that was coming out as well? There was another bit. Hang on. Oh yes, that was it. Rumours are hotting up that Tottenham are pursuing a player called Noosa, which is a place in Australia. But he's very good with his feet. He's good in the air. He's got all the tricks in the back of his pocket. Never heard of him. Don't know anything about him. But he's an 18-year-old centre forward. Another one for the future, perhaps. I don't know. It'd be nice to have a bit of experience in the team. I don't want to go all Chelsea. But hey, if that's the way it's going to be, that's the way it's going to be. We've got one of the youngest squads in the Premier League now. Now that Hugo and he who shall not be named have gone. Like I've been saying, I'm not really fussed if we do any more business this transfer window. We're going to see a different sort of Spurs for the second half of the season. We've got hopefully James Maddison coming back from the Manchester City game, and it looks like Manor Solomon is on the comeback trail as well. So we saw a little bit of Solomon before he went off with his tweaked taint or whatever. I don't know what he had. Was it? He's been out for a while. So a bit more from the kid. And it gives us options up front, doesn't it? If we've got the likes of, Werner, Solomon, Son, Richarlison, and Johnson, and I don't know if you can chuck Brian Gill. I was reliably informed by a passenger yesterday who was from Portugal, who's a proper soccer coach. So if you kids want a bit of soccer coaching, Statewide Soccer NSW is his YouTube channel name. He seemed like a really cool guy. supports Benfica, unfortunately, and we can't forget what happened in 1962. But he reliably informed me that it is in fact pronounced Brian Gill, not Brian Hill. So, I mean, I know Portugal isn't Spain, but it's closer than I am, so I'll take his word for it. So I'm going to call him Brian Gill from now on. I don't know if he's going to cut it, man. I'd love him to, and it's not his physicality. That was always the most often criticism I heard levelled at him was his physical size, and I think we've got past that with him, because he's not getting muscled off the ball. He's winning the ball back. Look, sometimes his pressing game is pretty good actually, and it's nice to have a fresh set of legs come on at the end of the game. But what he does with the ball, I find it a little bit frustrating, and maybe he's better suited playing in the Spanish league, where he can kick on. He seems to do well over there. So it's a shame. I don't get the feeling it's worked out. Speaking of not working out, Ryan Sessegnon's injured again. I don't know what's up with him this time. Oh dear, man. I mean, you got to feel for the kid, haven't you? I mean, I know he's not the best player to ever put on a Spurs shirt, but injury after injury has got to be frustrating for him. Oh, I've got to hold the press here. I think we've been visited by people from another world. They've landed. I've no idea what that is. It wasn't there yesterday. It's just appeared. Old Derek in Florida would like that one. They're out there somewhere. I guess we're all hoping that Arsenal and Liverpool trip up on a banana skin this weekend. It's a weird old winter break, isn't it? The way they've split the fixtures, and at the end of it, you're not reducing the number of games because they just have to squash them in either side. So we're going to be playing 3 games in a week, pretty much. When we come back, Man City, Brighton, and someone else, all in quick succession. I think if you're going to do the winter break, you might as well just break it for everyone, or just not bother. I don't know where this pressure comes from to reduce the number of games or workload, because players back in the day didn't really seem to have an issue with playing 10 games in 20 days. I can remember a few seasons of Spurs where we were doing well in Europe and well in the domestic cups, and the congestion at the end of the season would be horrendous. Well, not really, because they just got on and did it. Steve Perriman was saying when he scored those 2 banging goals for Tottenham against AC Milan in 1972 that was their 3rd game, I think, in 6 days. They didn't look tired. I don't think the game, I hear the excuse or the reason that the game is faster these days. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about that. It certainly isn't as intense or physical, and the conditions are a lot easier now with the pitches are like billiard tables, where they used to be quite often mud baths, even White Hart Lane, which had I suppose one of the best pitches in the First Division. Well, dare I say it, the best pitch in the whole world, befitting the greatest football team the world has ever seen. I just don't understand where this is coming from now. Are players kicking up a fuss? Is it a case of that they're just perhaps trained to that extreme? They're extreme athletes, and perhaps when the body's on that fine line, it's easier. It's easier. You could either think of it as when you're in that sort of state of physical health, you're either more resilient, or perhaps one small thing can go wrong and your body just has enough because of the strain of all the training. Whereas back years ago, players just looked like normal people. I mean, obviously fit, but just normal. And that's what was that's one of the things that created such a bond between football teams and their fans, is because they looked like us. They looked like us, but could just do extraordinary things with a football. Whereas I think these days they look like supreme athletes, but whether they can do extraordinary things with a football, I'm not so sure anymore. The great players, the great individual artists, you know, the Johan Cruyffs, the Glenn Hoddles, the Glenny Ardiles, Ozzy Ardiles, Franz Beckenbauer. You know, there were so many players that were household names, not just to football fans, but just in the zeitgeist of world culture. That seems to have gone beside the wayside. But there we go. We've got a weird old winter break where some teams play a bit one week and then everyone else catches up. So we've got to hope that Arsenal and Liverpool don't do the business. If Liverpool do, the title charge starts getting a bit tricky, but not impossible. And there we go, a little break. No more transfer news. But no news is good news, perhaps, you know. Until next time, peace and love, man. Peace and love. Come on, you Spurs.